what I gotta say is like I always tell you, Wally,
Mm-hmm.
that or any agenda in the United States always runs to the Black community because the Black community is the oppressed community in America. So if you could attach your agenda with Black people and have them help you, the agenda is going to go through.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens every time the Black people, because Black people, I keep saying it, man. Hey, sorry that I mean it, that I say it in this way.
Nah, it's facts.
They dumb. You got all these groups, all these agendas. They always runs to Black people. Black people are the forefront in the front line, protesting everything. And when the agenda goes through,
They
what's the thank you?
disassociate. They
They
disassociate some.
disassociate from Black people, and they don't want to know nothing about Black people. And Black people keep doing the same dumbness. So, in my opinion, hey, get what you get.
Now you know why I think Black people do this, because they, like, we keep thinking if we can push this agenda through, it will benefit us somehow, or maybe it'll make the fight that we're trying to get, that much closer, so to speak. So it's like, I think that's what it is. It's constantly looking for a means to the end, whereas if we help this group push this through, maybe whatever it is that we're trying to fight to push through can also get pushed through.
You know what I keep telling you, Wally, you know what Black people have to do?
Mhm.
They got to band together and send everybody to hell. Like I told you, at the end of the day, man, everybody's going to keep doing what they're doing with Black people, man. They're going to turn on them after.
But before,
that's my opinion.
But before that, and I'll ask you too, Delanto, before we can do that, everybody got to be on the same page.
That's what I'm saying.
You get what I'm saying?
Black people need to unite. Listen, there's no race in America, man. They mimics a race more than Black people. Everybody want to be like Black people, bro. Everybody try to dress like Black people, dance like Black people. And I'm talking about all Black people, you know what I'm saying? I'm not just talking about American Blacks, Everybody want to have braids and all this stuff. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But nobody wants to have any type of connection when it comes to being with Black people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What was you about to say, Delanto?
Yeah, I said it's very interesting the way what it's saying, and how the Black community needs to come together and actually really, pull together to bring something together. It's very true. And I mean, we do come together when we need to. For example, for Obama, we all came together, and that vote was resoundingly Black, right?
And to burn down buildings, that's why they come together.
Yeah. So I would just talk. I wouldn't comment over that right now.
Yeah. I know.
Based on like just the coming together of the Black people, I think we did that when Obama was running for power. Like, we all came together. The vote was synonymous, and we came together. During the time of Floyd, when he was stomped on, and COVID was in town, we all came together and we all pulled together. And I remember even there was a time when really one Black guy discriminated against one white guy discriminated against a Black guy in one apartment. No, actually, it was against some Vietnamese or Japanese in our house, and one Black guy was supporting the Vietnamese people and told the white guy to leave them alone, that don't come at them. I remember after that same day that video came out, the Sunday, everybody was in front of that man's house, and they were pushing towards that. They were fighting. So
that was that was Edward Cagney. I forgot his last name. I did a video on him on the channel, but go on.
Yes. So you see, that's us banding together and having one voice. There's so many other reasons why we need to come together, and I have a plethora of locations or agenda on where we need to come together, right? One of the most important part where we need to come together is our history, right? What we want our history to be, right? If you go to the history books, right? Any history books in all our classes, what do they talk about? They talk about what happened when Columbus colonized America, the European stuff. And then they talk about slavery for a long time.
They gloss over it. They gloss over slavery. They just talk about slavery, and then they'll talk about Eli Whitney making the cotton gin. But they don't talk about how the cotton gin made, because slavery was on the verge of dying out. Once Eli Whitney made the cotton gin, it made slavery skyrocket again because it's like, oh,
Yeah.
we can now mass produce cotton with the cotton gin, so that puts slaves back in high demand. So they just gloss over slavery. So definitely you want to make
Yeah.
sure you note that part.
I mean, it was quite interesting. And they talk about slavery, and then after slavery, basically, they talk about the Civil War, and
Mhm.
after Civil War, everything started going on. Now, for us in particular, I think for the kids growing up, I think we need to start having our own history, right? The history they're telling is not our history. It's America history. And as you know, even though it's America history, we need to decide to expatiate on what is more important, what the most important history is, our own history is, right? Even though it's
Mhm.
American history, I think just talking about slavery and polluting the mind of the youths on what slavery is
Mhm.
without showing how we came out of slavery, the success after slavery, like all those need to be written down so that the young ones can actually know more. And the story should be even less about slavery, right? It should
Mhm.
be more after the success of slavery. Because your goal in life is not to let your kids know when you were suffering, right? Your goal in life is to let your kids know how to get out of any kind of suffering that's going on. Or your goal in life is to teach your kids what they need to do to advance from where they are right now. So a lot of the history that you will learn is only about the slavery portion, right? There's no big history about how we have come out of it, the process of coming out of it, which way we need to go, and which way the successful people have gone through that have succeeded and now making the country a better person, that making the Black community a better community, right? I
Mhm.
mean, the world in the Black community now, we're seeing that left and right, right? We have Kanye West billionaire, LeBron James billionaire. In this past 3-4 years, in this decade, we've had the most amount of billionaires in America. We are Black men that, as we know, not I think the ones that are the forefront ones, the ones that the kids see, the young people know about. So it's showing that the trend of excellence is coming into play, right? And those trends are very, very important to show our kids that, to show the Black community that this is what we want to do. This is how we need to grow. And then, to me, I think one of the saddest things is when I was growing up, I'm Nigerian, so I'm Nigerian. When I was growing up, my success, right? And what I counted success was you going to school, you getting a degree, you find a job, you're having a business, and then you make money.
Mhm.
These are
Yeah.
my these are what I counted as success, right?
Mhm.
But when you come here, what a lot of people see as success is what? You be a basketball player, you be a football player, right? You be
Mhm.
a rapper,
Mhm.
you be a drug dealer, right? And then maybe a few people that go to school. Now more people are seeing people that are going to school and get educated, doing very well, right? It's coming in more. But the main ones are the athletes, the sports players, the musicians, and the drug dealers. And when that is what you see, you tend to grow and want to become one of those, right?
Mhm.
And the amount of chance, so the chance of being successful in those lines are very, very hard. You know that, right? To
Mhm.
become a
Yeah. Yeah.
professional
Yeah.
basketball player,
Definitely. Definitely.
Mhm.
to become a professional basketball player, you are, you know how many kids go to school for basketball and don't make it? The chances are very, very low. To become a professional
They
football
are.
player, the chances are very, very low. To become a rapper, a major, grand major rapper, the chances are very, very low. So when we're talking about this, the Black community and where we need to come together, we need to come together on the ways we decide to raise our growing up kids and where
But
they're focused. Let me know. I've diverted from the story.
nah,
So
nah, you
that'll
did,
be
you
another
did.
topic for
But
another day.
yeah, well, nah, because we can chop this up into another show. So
Okay.
I'll
Another show.
break that
Okay,
down or
fine.
whatever. Yeah, I'll break it down so it's two
Yeah.
different. Now,
Yeah.
here's the thing. I understand that 100% what you're saying, but it's easier for, not to say foreigners, whatever, but people with other ethnicities. For instance, me, I'm
Mhm.
Haitian. I'm Haitian. You're Nigerian. Vic's Puerto Rican. It's easier for those who have other nationalities to have
Mhm.
that perspective. The reason why I say this is because even when we go back to slavery, whatever, right? What people don't really like to talk about is post-traumatic slave syndrome. You get
So
what I'm
so
saying?
so yes.
So,
So
so,
so so that yeah, let me talk about that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So I rather I talk about it. I know you know what you're talking about probably because
Mm-hmm.
you grew up here. So I used to be mentally when I got to this country,
Mm-hmm.
I used to look at the African American community and I used to be like, wait, you guys have all these opportunities. Why are you not seizing these opportunities? Why are you
Mm-hmm.
not, we foreigners come in and we're like, we're working hard, we're trying to succeed. But I was talking to one of my friends one time and she was saying the same thing. I was like, listen, you guys don't understand what they went through as a whole. The dehumanization, the dehumanization
Mm-hmm.
that they went through. There's more psychological things that's going on with them than you can ever imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they used to dehumanize them. They used to put them
Yeah.
in boxes.
Yeah.
They basically wanted to turn them into like mental animals
Mm-hmm.
or mental. They wanted to become inhumane, so they can't really think anymore. They
Mm-hmm.
can't function anymore. They basically depress them. So when you go through depression, you can't really do anything. You can't really become yourself. You don't know your identity. Imagine, you're from Haiti, right? Where are you from, Victor? Victor, where are you from?
Puerto Rico.
Imagine, Victor, that you don't know you're from Puerto Rico. Just imagine it in your mind that mentally you do not know you're from Puerto Rico.
Mhm.
You're lost.
Lost, yeah.
You're lost. You don't have an identity at all.
Identity, yeah.
Imagine, Wally, that you are
Mhm.
not. You don't know you're Asian. Imagine you don't know you're Asian. You are lost. You don't have a backtrack of who you used to be or
Mhm.
who you should be.
Mhm.
Right? It's recently that why do you think Wakanda was very big? Because it
Oh
showed them
yeah.
it showed history, it showed a
Yeah.
background.
Mhm.
It taught them to say, yo, we were from something
Mhm.
before. And then it gives you a passion to drive a driving force that if you know Nigerians, we have this thing we say, Nigerians never know carry last,
Mhm.
which means we will never be the last in anything we do, right? No matter what it is, it's just a mentality. And this basic mentality makes you drive hard, push
Oh
hard in
yeah.
everything you do.
Oh yeah.
The Jewish people, right? They
Mhm.
have a mentality, right? They know who they are, what they are. The Indians, they know who they are. Their parents
Look,
push them to go to school.
check
So,
check this out. Look,
understanding that, yes.
look. No, real quick. When it came to my pops, right? He came here to America. You're talking a you're talking your man worked in a warehouse, bust his butt,
Mm,
wind up owning 3 properties, making sure he has a car, my mother have a car, all the bills are paid. My mother's job basically just bought the groceries, but his money covered all the bills. You get what I'm
that's
saying?
good.
So
That's good.
that
That's
lets
good.
you know, like when you come,
Mhm.
when you have a different, come from a different culture or background, that's the
Yeah.
mentality that's put into because they have an identity. You get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I understand exactly what you're saying. But yeah, go on. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah. Yeah. So the lack of identity when they went through that slavery period, they lost so much of their identity. Even whenever they tried to create an identity, I remember there was I can't remember the name of the town. There was a town, it was a big
Mhm.
black town. I gotta remember the name right now. That was thriving very, very well,
Yeah, you
doing
talking
very
about
well. I
Black
remember
Wall
the
Street. You talking about Black Wall
Black
Street.
Wall Street.
Yeah.
They were thriving very well. They were becoming, innovative. They
Mhm.
had businesses. And then there was a story of one of a black man raping
Yeah. Yep.
a woman, and because of that, the entire town got burned down.
Yeah, they shut it down.
Because of one story, they shut down the entire town, burned down the entire business. So even when you were trying to create identity for themselves, they were still being pulled down identity wise. So you have to understand that what they've gone through is what's making them who they are right now. And the progress that we are seeing day to day is amazing.
Oh
From
yeah.
someone going through slavery for 100 years. So some people will like say, "Oh, how come they've not?" Africans talk about that. Foreigners always talk about that process. They always laugh about them and say, "Hey, how come the African American is not doing better than they are?" You just have to realize what they've gone through
Mm-hmm.
and what they're coming out of, and the depression and the depressed state that they are in right now. If you think about it, if you look at the community we are right now, since Floyd, police activity has reduced almost like 70%. Haven't you noticed that?
Yeah,
Police activities have reduced.
I will say they're more cautious with what they do, and they actually like go through proper channel. Because now when you see a lot of like shootings and stuff, it's
Mhm.
a lot of times it's bought on that individual not complying or not doing what they're supposed to do. It's
Guess
not
what?
just brazen like shooting people. Just get what I'm saying. It's not as bad as it was.
And I'm sure if they check the statistics, nothing has changed in terms of like theft, nothing has changed in terms of criminal crime rate. Everything is still normal. It's because there were so many plans. If you go to a suburban neighborhood, you will hardly see a police car, right? If you go to like Bridgewater, you will see a police car maybe once every 4 days. If you come to like Irvington, Newark, you see a cop every single corner. Even your
But
mind will start messing with you. You start thinking differently. You won't be
Vic,
relaxed anymore.
Is it like that in Passaic? You see cops out the wazoo?
No, not really, not much. My
Not
town is
really.
a
Oh,
little.
okay.
Not
Okay.
much. You see,
Okay.
but
My,
you
my
see,
town is
back in the days,
sanctuary town.
You said what? Your town is what?
Sanctuary town. So people
Oh,
got to
okay,
get
okay.
oh
quiet.
yeah.
They bring the bus in. So,
Yeah,
I live
actually,
around
Newark,
Sheets.
even Newark too is a century town too, so they can't really pick anybody up from that location. But
Okay.
I mean, this is just an interesting conversation. We can have that
Yeah.
another time. But I think it's very important that the history be told now, right? We need
Yeah.
to have new history. Like we shouldn't just be talking about slavery anymore. Slavery was there. We talk about it for 2 chapters. For the next 10 chapters, we talked about all the different things we have done as Black people, right? The doctors have done, amazing surgery. How Obama became big, how LeBron James became a billionaire, what it does, how he created his business. All those things are what these young kids need nowadays to understand what they need to become, how they need to grow, and how they need to develop. I'll go from there and I'll let that be.
See, the thing with that is though, you still have a lot of people, unfortunately, who are still trapped mentally. And the reason why I say this is because, granted, we need to stop talking about slavery, but we can't turn a blind eye to the effects of it. The reason why I say this is because,
No,
granted,
yeah, we can. Yes,
people,
yes.
people, people, like none of us has been slaves or whatever, like in modern society. But what you have is when you had these people who got out of slavery, they're still mentally trapped. None of these people couldn't see a therapist. None of these people could see a shrink. And this is the thing. We look at mental health as a serious issue. And you're talking about people who to this day still have not seek mental health for those traumas.
Yeah.
And what happens is
And
you have
it's
people
transition
who
over.
they have no one to turn to. So they take it out on their significant other, their kids, whatever. And as that kid is growing up, they're learning bad behavior inadvertently from their parents who have nobody to turn to. So it just keep trickling down. Now, eventually it gets watered down, but every now and then, say you having financial problems, relationship problems, it tends to rear its ugly head again, which can play a role in the person's head or whatever. So what I will say is we as a Black people, we need to not look down upon seeking therapy and getting help or whatever, because the Black community has a lot of distrust the police, distrust science, distrust doctors. It's so much distrust because there was a lot of things done to Black people where they were being
even distrust in themselves,
exactly,
in their own neighbors.
but where did that stem from? You get what I'm saying? It was all divided. You get so it's like it's not as bad, but it still exists. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, yo, we need to seek that mental, not look down upon seeing a psychiatrist to start that healing
Even Dave
process.
Chappelle.
Yeah, exactly.
Even Dave
Exactly.
Chappelle talked about it, right? Talk about the slave guy. There was the guy that was a slave before. He got freed as a slave. Even when he got freed as a slave, they gave him a land. He did well with the land, and over years, as he was doing well, he himself started buying slaves.
Yeah, exactly.
He also started owning slaves. A Black man now owning slaves. Like
Yeah,
what?
yeah, yeah. He just followed the trend because that's what he's seen.
So like, it's how crazy it is. Like, even though it was funny trend, but it was still doing the wrong norm. So
Yeah,
sometimes,
exactly.
we have to like realize that who we are is who we are, right? And what we become is. So whenever you're having a conversation with somebody, right? If somebody says something to you, or if somebody views an opinion, is basically on. It's not their opinion is not solid.
Yeah, nah, it's
Opinions
not
are based.
fact.
Oh yes, opinions are based on your way of life or the way you grew up in life, right? Your opinions are directed by the way you grew up in life. So the way you think are based on your the way you live your life or the way you grew up in life will be what the way you would think and the way your opinions will come out, right? That's the way it will be. So over the years, right, as time have gone by, we need to like decide to say, okay, the blacks have gone through so much, and even because they're not going through therapy, this depression has been passed over from generations to generations to generations, and it has festered, he has grown, he has grown into a wing, he has now become a strong perspective of feeling of someone, right? And then because of that, we need to really be more careful on how we think about, how we talk about, different cultures. Because our culture, the African American culture is very different. What they've gone through is very strong, and it's something they need to get out of. It will take time to get out of it. But once you get out of it, we are black. Okay? Blacks, you see, not to say too much, but the black race is ridiculous. It's a very dangerous race, my guy.
Yeah.
People don't understand how dangerous the black race. They're very strong, right? Physically, we're very strong. And then mentally, we're also very strong. So when you combine those two aspects, it's devastating to any culture and any group, right? So as we become better people, as we grow and become a bigger entity in society, we gotta just keep progressing and keep enjoying our success. And to me, my biggest fear is my biggest sadness is the younger community, or the more like the non-urban community where where blacks are still fighting each other, where there's still gangs, where there's still Bloods and Crips. Those are the only ones that still saddens me the more, right? We killing each other, to me, is probably the worst thing that we can ever think about. To me, I think that's where the cancel culture should be right now.
Oh yeah,
right?
definitely.
Yeah, each other should be our cancel culture. We're fighting in the Black Lives Matter and all that stuff. That's fine. But ourselves, we having gangs. Me not liking your neighbor. Me fighting your neighbor. Me against your neighbor. That will always be. We shouldn't be killing ourselves in this large amount of ways, or in this cultural way. I think that's, to me, is the hardest thing, and to me, that's what I'll fight against. And that's why I also have problem with. That's why I have a problem with hip hop. I don't know. Maybe this is another conversation. That's why I have a problem with hip hop. Some people think I shouldn't have a problem with hip hop and say, "Oh, they're telling their life story." To me, I said, what life stories are they telling about? They're talking about the life story. They're talking about stories that nobody wants to live, like a lifestyle no one wants to live. And you're saying, "Oh, they're talking about life story." No, if they want to live that lifestyle, stop rapping. And then when they're done with their rapping song, go back to the hood and carry that gun and be in that corner store and keep slinging that dope, right? That's what you really enjoy. But they're not billionaires, but they're still talking about their lifestyle and glorifying the lifestyle they don't want to be anymore. And then the young ones are looking at that lifestyle from their song and saying, "Oh man, that's a lifestyle I want to live enough to become that bigger rapper," right?
Yeah.
Enough for me to be 2 Chainz, I need to I need to be like 2 Chainz. I need to be like the baby. I need to do all the stuff, and that's not the lifestyle we want anymore for our kids, personally, right?
Yeah.
So over time we can talk about that later on, but the little things that also matters to our culture, I think we should be talking about that more than what somebody's doing to us. We should talk about more what we could do to ourselves than what people are doing to us. And as we change and develop, we'll become better people in the other side.
And that's the thing that you said that I appreciate, because you're right. One way to kind of combat it is stop talking about the negative things. Let's teach each other how to actually build up. Talk about the positives. You get what I'm saying? Keep the negatives in the rear view mirror. Because if you raise your child and all you do is teach them, hey, go to school, get your education, get a business, get money, work hard, it's going to pay off. Don't worry about the women. The women will come later. Women, do what you got to do. Get, yes, you're going to get a man or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, you try and teach them the right things to do to succeed. Don't worry about the racism card. Don't worry about this person's holding you down. Don't worry. Don't focus on that. Focus on the things that are going to move you forward, move you ahead, so that you become prosperous in life. You get what I'm saying? That's what you should focus on. What's your take on that, Vic?
I don't know. I think it's gonna be very hard with this young lazy generation. That's what they love. They love that victimhood. You see, every time there's something happens, they're in the wrong. They quickly pull the race card out. That's why they attach themselves to. They love that. They're not gonna let that go, man. The race card
No,
thing.
but what I'm saying is, how do you change that? You don't think changing it
Yeah,
is
you
by
change it.
actually preaching it?
You change it by helping one another. Like I told you, sticking together. Stop going to waste your money on this. How can I say, on this white brands that will even come back and distribute no money back to your community instead of supporting your own, your own brands.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't know. It's like me as a Hispanic person, man, living, around black people, because I'm living the ghettos too with black people. I noticed they have this like love, and they need this approval from the white people to feel like there's somebody. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't get it, man. With all the culture black people have in America, man, because they got the richest country. I mean, the richest country, the richest culture, in my opinion. But they go and beg other people. They don't have no culture. I don't understand it as a Hispanic person. I see it all the time outside. I'll be like, wow, everybody trying to be like, yeah, even Hispanic people, I see them, trying
But
to
here's
act
the
black and everything. But when it comes down to identifying with black, they don't want nothing to do with that. But they want to dress black, talk black, dance black, all this stuff. But nobody want to be attached to it.
But here's the thing, though. If we're supposed to be teaching our youth, how to prosper and stuff like that, isn't that kind of keeping it sticking together?
Yeah, that's what they need to do. But like
You
I
get what I'm
said, this
saying?
young generation,
They
the
don't.
way that they think, they're not gonna do that. Wally, you know that better than me, man. You think them young kids want to go work and stuff like that? Listen, man.
I mean,
You tell them, hey, listen, I got a job for you. They'll throw you with a brick, man.
I guess
They be like, they be like,
I guess it all depends on who your parents are, so to speak.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it depends on. But
And you don't have a lot of good parents in the hood, man. It's more negative than positive, Wally.
that is true. Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yo,
like I said, to start, I honestly believe to start some type of change or whatever the case may be, it needs to start at home, and we all need to basically. Like I said, I like what Kenny. I gotta change. I like what Delonte said. You gotta basically start teaching the young, prosper, work hard, get your education, and everything like that, because it starts with the youth, man. Like that's the way I see it. It starts with the youth.
There's so much distrust in the black community, man. How many black smart people have come up along history, in American history, and at the end, it's the black people that end up destroying that black person. Marcus Garvey, or all this, Martin Luther King, all that. They always turn on the people that's trying to help them out.
I mean, they do, but here's the thing. If all we're gonna focus on is the negatives of, hey, distrust is gonna, the blacks don't trust each other, and all this negativity is gonna come, then it's like, at the end of the day, what is the point then? Because if you can't look at a silver lining, or maybe this will work, maybe that will work, but it's like, oh, it's not gonna work, whatever. There's always distrust, and it's like, then what is the point of having this conversation? Because if you can think that, then how do you think that's going to put that into that individual's head? They're going to be like, well, they don't believe in me, so what the hell's the point? I might as well continue doing what I'm doing, slinging that brick, whatever. You get what I'm saying? So again, that's still just perpetuating the negative of making them doubt themselves. Whereas if you just be like, yo, you can do it. You actually can change your life around. You can do this. It gives them a better uplifting to be like, yo, this is actually possible. But soon as you start bringing doubt, it's just like, if you start a new job, you love the new job, then one worker come up to you, yo, man, this job, man, I don't know, this job, it sucks, man, blah, blah, blah. That little bit of doubt, no matter how much good you love that job, starts to resonate, and all of a sudden you start seeing signs of negativity that person put in your head.
Yeah.
So it's like, you get what I'm saying? That's why I'm like, yo, focusing on the positive to me makes the most sense, and not like do away with the negative thoughts. We know these negative thoughts exist, but guess what? Let's try and make it positive and put positive thoughts in everybody's head, so to speak, and try to look out for one another and uplift one another.
It's a matter of opinion.